Hi, welcome to the Crafty Tinkerer. I'm Nicole, and again this week I am filming inside because it's raining outside. I can't wait to get back outside and do another podcast, but for now we're just gonna have to be in the house. This week I have some progress on my 2 at a time socks, some progress on my sweater, and I have a finished object, which is a third Hatdana. I'm going to start with the sweater because that's the whole reason why I started this podcast in the first place. I thought last week that I was finished with the motifs till the armholes, but I realized that I still had about 15 rows to go until I could do the armholes. So I had to pick another motif. I started that and I've done about 4 rows. So that's going to be a little while. Probably this week I'm really going to try to focus just on my sweater. Famous last words, I know. And we'll see what happens. I feel like that's the point that I'm working towards right now, is like getting to the armholes. So hopefully that will be able to happen in the next couple of weeks. But I don't know. My sister is coming to visit next week, and she'll be here for 2 weeks. So we have plans to go out and do things while she's here. I am considering maybe not podcasting too while she's here, but I don't know yet. I haven't made a decision on that. I guess it'll probably depend on how much time I have. So back to the sweater. I have chosen 2 more colors. This is the Sholmit Gray. It's a lighter gray color. And this color doesn't actually have a name, but it's a numbered color and it's a mix. It's orange and it has a little bit of red and yellow highlights, I would say, in it. I don't exactly know what the term for that is, but I like it. So far, this is what I have for my sweater. And it's curling up now, so it's harder to see what the actual patterns and colors are towards the, on the needles. But I like how it's turning out so far, even though it's slow going. So I'm sorry. If I was just updating on sweater progress, I would probably just podcast once a month. Especially now that I have so many stitches on the needle. I knew the sweater was going to take me a while, which is why I started it now with the goal to finish by October. The other thing that I've been working on are my 2 at a time socks. I did, an experiment of doing 2 at a time because I like the idea of having 2 socks once I'm finished. I really don't care for the magic loop method that much. I can't figure out that sweet spot of not having ladders in the knitting or having it so tight that I have to fight with it to get it back up over the needle when I pull it around. This is my current progress on these, and I don't know how I'm gonna go forward with it. I don't know if I'm just gonna try to finish it with the magic loop, or if I'm gonna take them off and put them on double pointed needles. I do have this little pair of ChowGoo, they're size 2 needles, and this is what I made my last 2 pairs of socks on. The other option is transferring them to this needle and maybe getting another one of these so that I can make 2 at the same time and just work on each sock a little bit at a time so that I end up with 2 socks. I guess maybe I could use that and then put one on double points. I really, really wanted to like Magic Loop. I kept trying to convince myself that it would work, but it is not working for me. Now on to the Hatdana. My first Hatdana was great, but it was a little heavy, as I mentioned before. I wanted to do a lightweight version with sock yarn, and I went one step further. Denise kindly did the math for a fingering weight Hatdana as well, and posted that on Ravelry. But she went down 2 needle sizes in her fingering weight version, and I wanted it to be a little bit lighter. I wanted the gauge to be a little more loose. So I ended up just staying with the original size needles that the pattern calls for, to get that loose gauge. So I really love how it came out on the original needles. I only went down 1 size for the ribbing, and I should have gone down 2, but I was a little worried that it would go, it would be too small. So if I were to do it again, I would have gone down definitely 2 sizes on the ribbing. And then the cast off, I started and I made it was really tight. So then it got, I started to not pull quite so tight, but now it's sort of, I don't know, wavy on the bottom. I don't know what the proper term for that is. But it'll be fine. It's fine when I wear it, and it fits my head perfectly. And the funny thing though is, because it's such a loose gauge, it also fits my husband's head. And there is a 2-inch difference between the two of us. I was aiming to make this in the small size, but it still fits him. So I'm not that he wears bandanas, but I was just interested to see how much of a range I could get with it. So I definitely could have gone down that extra needle size for the ribbing, and I probably will if I do another one. This only used 32 grams of the whole knit and caboodle yarn that I picked up from the Perfect Blend a couple of weeks ago. Well, I guess it's about a month ago now. I still have 70 some odd grams left in the skein, which is great. I could do a whole nother 2 Hatdanas with it. I won't. I think I'm actually gonna use that now to make another pair of socks. This week, Tracie from the Grocery Girls released a short sock pattern that she named after her daughter, because her daughter likes short socks. And so I downloaded that, and I'm planning to make a pair of those. I just need to figure out which yarn I'm going to use as the contrasting color, because it uses 2 colors. And I think I might invert the colors on the socks just to make them a little different. So yeah, already thinking about another project. I was looking at my Ravelry projects page the other day, and I have so many patterns in my library. I probably could never knit all these projects in my entire lifetime. So I don't know, but I see them and I like them, and I put them in the library. I save them to an app that I have on my phone just in case. So I have them in 2 locations, but like I said, I'll probably never get to knit most of them. But at least I have them. They're there. So some of you may be wondering how I know exactly how much yarn I use. Like, did I measure it out? I use a food scale. I have a regular kitchen food scale, and when I turn it on, I have the option of what unit of measurement I would like to use. I can do grams, I can do pounds, I can do pounds and ounces, I can do just ounces, I can do milliliters. but I stick to grams because with the yarn, that's usually the easiest thing to do. And then Ravelry has this great feature where you can add yarn to a stash, and then if you're using a yarn from your stash in a project, you can add that, and then once you're finished, you can weigh your project on the scale, put in how many grams you've used. It will automatically update your stash to show how many yards and grams you have left. I use their tools all the time for my projects. I love that when I find a project and look at the project page, it will suggest yarns from my stash. That's the only reason why I started adding yarn to my stash on there. I didn't know about that feature until probably about 3 or 4 months ago. So I started to go through and add all the yarns that I have. And then if someone else uses that yarn for their project and they put that they've used that yarn for a project, then when you're looking at the project, it will tell you, you have 3 or 4 suggested yarns, and you can click on the link and then you can see the project that was made out of that yarn to see if you would like to use it as well. That's actually how I figured out that I was going to use the mandala yarn for the Milo dress that I made. I saw how it came out when someone else used the mandala yarn for their vest. So if you haven't known about that feature before, it's very handy, and you can filter it. I mean, you can really filter projects to knitting and crochet or both. You can do the yarn weight. You can check, like if you want to find a project with that yarn, but you only have a certain amount, you can filter it down to show projects that use that amount or less. You can filter it for cost. You can filter it for difficulty, the difficulty rating. I use those features quite a bit. I think they're fantastic, and I thank whoever came up with the idea because it makes my life so much easier. It's so nice to see other projects that are made with certain yarns, to see how they'll come out and if you like the look of it before you actually start a project. It saves a lot of frogging. That's all I have for this week. I hope that you all have a great week, and I am not sure if I'll be posting a video next week or not. If you would like to be notified when I do upload a video, please subscribe to my channel and click the bell, and then you'll receive an email notification or a notification from YouTube. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. And if you have any questions or comments, please leave them below. Have a great day.